One of the things that's been really eye-opening to me is just like how quickly a country can slip into fascism. Like, it happens pretty fucking fast. And all of a sudden, there are conversations that happen publicly where you're like, what? This is something that if somebody said it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, everybody would have fucking cut you out of their lives and looked at you like you're a psychopath, right? So I have a great example of it here. This is Fox News, and they are going mask off fascist. Look, I feel for this liberal host that they have on the network because she must feel like she's in the fucking Twilight Zone every day. This is like living in a nightmare on a daily basis. So listen to what she says, and the response should send a chill up your spine.
There's still a due process issue here. And there are now numerous cases confirmed of people in that mega prison who should not be. We talked earlier in the...
Talking about the El Salvador slave labor camp and Trump illegally shipping people there, claiming they're Tren de Aragua. Then information comes out, that person's not Tren de Aragua. They have a tattoo that's for their 15-year-old autistic brother, right? Another one was literally like a gay barber, and they sent him there. Like, they're just sent, no due process, no hearing, no habeas corpus, no getting in front of a court, no having a lawyer, no talking to journalists, just, we're going to kidnap you, and we're going to ship you to an El Salvador slave labor gulag.
Week about the Venezuelan gay barber who is not in Tren de Aragua, who's in there. There's a Venezuelan married man with a political asylum claim. He has no tattoos. He was sent because of a paperwork error. And there's another man.
Yeah, they sent a professional soccer goalie from Venezuela who was allegedly tortured by the Maduro regime. He came here legally, and then they shipped him. Like, what do you even say at that point, right? What do you even say at that point? This is so far gone. This is straight up fascist shit.
He was sent because of a paperwork error. And there's another man, a 25-year-old who works as a baker in Dallas, who had an autism awareness tattoo in honor of his 15-year-old brother. He got detained 2 times. The first time he was able to speak to an agent and explain what it was. And he said, no, you're clear. He was detained again in Dallas. They did not care, and they have sent him there.
So I need you to take note of something. Everything she's brought up so far is just factual. It's just like, here's the information that we know of, which has been widely reported and is verified. That's all she's saying. Jessica Tarlov, I think her name is. Ready for the response? Buckle up.
So hopefully we fix these mistakes and we can keep going forward
There
with
is
the
a way
deportation.
to do... You can... It is,
wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute.
You mean it's not good enough if you fix the mistake?
I don't think, in the case of the gay barber who had his
to do a due process for every one of them?
Well, there aren't that many. We've only sent, 250?
Jessica, you're showing more sympathy to these illegal alien gangbangers than you show to American citizens when you mistakenly let 10 million people in.
So she explains in excruciating detail. They're not from Tren de Aragua. They're not gang members. These are totally innocent people. And Jesse Water says, you're showing more concern and sympathy for these illegal gangbangers than you are for the American people who are the victim of 10 million undocumented immigrants coming to the country. She literally just explained to you, they are not undocumented immigrants. They're not criminals. They're not gangbangers. She literally just explained that to you in no uncertain terms. And that's your reaction? How do you deal with this? How do you talk to that? How do you negotiate with it? The MAGA movement is the first, very obvious, postmodernist presidency in my lifetime. In other words, what I mean by that is, they don't live in a world of objective reality and empirical truth. They live in a world where it's my truth. And his truth is close enough. You rounded up some brown people, most of them have tattoos, guilty enough in my mind, get them the fuck out of here, and I don't care what happens. You heard what Jeanine Pirro said. You want to give them all due process? We don't even have the number of judges that we need. Well, then get the fucking judges, you jackass. Instead of ripping up the Constitution, shitting on the Constitution, destroying it, lighting it on fire, throwing our civilized society in the garbage because you're a fucking bigot and you want to rush this shit. Holy shit, man. This is so dark. This is so dark. It actually kind of reminds me of the debate Crystal was having with Sagar, where Crystal was explaining the facts of the situation and Sagar kept jumping in to be like, why are you showing more concern for them than you are for the victims of illegal immigration in this country? And it's like, whether or not people get due process is not a debatable issue. Just like, hey, the First Amendment protects free speech. We're not debating that anymore. The whole point of a constitution is to have a right. A right is the opposite of a privilege. A privilege is something you're granted. A right is something that you just have by default. And what they're saying is, let's wage a war on rights. Fuck the First Amendment. Ship Mahmoud Khalil out of here. Detain Mahmoud Khalil, which his crime was protesting Israel, right? So no First Amendment, no due process, no habeas corpus. Oh, tee-hee-hee. Are you a gay barber? Well, I guess we'll just say you're Trende Aragua and lock you up in a slave labor camp with no recourse. How are we fucking debating this? How are we? Everybody who's taking the other side of this should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves.
You're showing more sympathy to these illegal alien gangbangers than you show to American citizens when you mistakenly let 10 million people
We should have the pictures of the victims of these people and it's real deterrence so the American people and you can see it.
That is not, if you are in the process, if you're
the victims of these people, the victims of the 15-year-old who works at a bakery who had an autism awareness tattoo for his 15-year-old brother, who volunteered to help other special needs kids. The victim, there are no victims of that person. There are no victims of that person. Oh my God. I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm going to lose it.
You mistakenly let 10 million people.
We should have the pictures of the victims of these people and it's real deterrence so the American people.
She literally thinks the people Trump is kidnapping, by definition, cannot be victims. That's how she thinks. That's how she thinks. So she's thinking like, oh, Laken Riley or somebody else who was the victim of a crime done by an undocumented immigrant. The logic there is, all undocumented immigrants, and maybe even all immigrants broadly, even legal immigrants, are guilty for the crimes of individuals. So this is dehumanization and generalization about this group of people, which she doesn't like. It is sloppy thinking. It is fucking gross thinking. It is fucking ancient, primitive-ass thinking. And she's spewing it on TV to millions of people casually.
You can see it.
That is not, if you are in the process, if you're in the asylum process, you are given certain due process rights.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you went through a legal port of entry, you were supposed to see a judge, and then you get picked up and sent for an autism awareness.
Legal or illegal port of entry?
Legal.
Yeah?
Really? Yeah.
Those people, Jesse Waters and fucking Janine Pirro, the drunk, they're irredeemable. They're irredeemable. The fact that they're willing to defend this means there is literally nothing they won't defend. If Trump decides, hey, Greenland pissed me off, they're not submitting to me trying to illegally steal them, and Trump decides, I'm going to drop a nuke on Greenland, they would be on TV defending it. They would be on TV defending it. They know their marching orders. They know their job. And ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is what a fascist cult looks like. There is no more independent thought. There is no more disagreement. You're either with them or you're against them. And clearly what they're saying is, I don't give a fuck about the specific examples of abuses and lack of due process where innocent people are being shipped to a slave labor camp. Who cares? I like Trump. I like what he's doing. We can fix the mistakes. The whole point of due process is to not have mistakes. It's up front making sure there are no mistakes because we don't want to lock anybody innocent up. But they say, oh, no, it's fine. We like the way he's doing it. We can fix the mistakes and get back to doing what they're doing. What they're doing is all a mistake. Because it's not about getting fucking Trende Aragua. It's not about, they are trying to create an environment of fear. They're trying to do a minimum of 1,200 deportations per day, which means what? Guys, there's not that many undocumented immigrant violent criminals. They've already been deported. Every administration deports them, right? So then if you're saying 1,200 deportations a day, but we're out of undocumented immigrant violent criminals, who's left? Undocumented immigrants who are not at all violent criminals, right? You're going to have legal immigrants, green card holders, etc. They're going after anybody. They detained a U.S. veteran. We just covered a story the other day. They detained a mother who was here as a child, so she's a dreamer, and her 1-year-old kid and her 5-year-old kid. They're hundreds of students whose crime is protesting Israel or writing an op-ed that Trump doesn't like. They're saying, your ass has got to go. They're just fascists. They are just fascists. There was a time when there was a debate and a discussion. Hey, are they fascists? How far would they have to go to be fascists, etc.? There was a time when there was debate. We are so far past that time. If you're not willing to call a spade in this instance, you are part of the problem. You are. I don't know how much more clear they have to make it. And by the way, you want to talk about accountability? There will be zero accountability, zero justice, zero consequences for shredding the Constitution, lighting it on fire, and then shitting on the remains. There will be zero, because who's going to hold anybody accountable? The Attorney General is a fucking cuck to Trump. The entire Department of Justice is a cuck to Trump. The FBI, they're cucks to Trump. The fucking DC prosecutor cucked to Trump. So the only thing we have are like state level charges with Democratic DA. Like that's all that's left, right? So like, doesn't matter. They commit a dozen crimes a day as they are. They won't talk about it. If they do talk about it, they'll say it doesn't matter. We don't care. They're right. They can be given clear evidence, proof of violations of the Constitution and due process and the First Amendment and all that stuff. They don't care. So what I need everybody to do is get with the times. I'm sorry, but the idea of, oh, we're gonna reach out to the other side and we're gonna compromise, we're gonna negotiate, and we're gonna have conversations about having conversations, and we gotta, this is how you win. Like, fuck no. If you build it, they will come. We are going to be relentless in resisting every single fucking thing this administration does and telling everybody our counter-argument, our counter-narrative, our counter-philosophy, and we're going to get all the people who aren't in the fascist cult. That's the way out. There is no compromise with this. There's no compromise with this. It's honestly as ludicrous as saying, you know, back in the 1930s, like, oh, you're in compromise with Mussolini. Like, fuck no. That's not a thing. Grow up. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.